everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We have got the most exciting episode we've ever had. Actually, probably not. But we do have an episode. We have us. It's me, you, and Dupree. Oh, like that's a bad movie. Oh, yeah. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel where today I started about 30 minutes late. I apologize for that. Was actually, so the topic of the chat today being the Star Trek Fleet Command events, the recent release that we just had in the in-game news about the Armada events, all that fun stuff was actually just in a call with the dev team. So got to get their thoughts and give a little bit of feedback on some of the events that y'all have provided. So it's a big thank you to the community for participating and reaching out and doing that. Because if it wasn't for the community, then none of this would matter. And of course it matters because, well, Star Trek Fleet Command is life. It's literally what we do most of our days. Even if you're at work right now, you're literally here doing Star Trek Fleet Command. So you think about that for a second. You think about what your life's priorities are, and they're in the right spot. So here's some shout outs to people who are here already. Remember, if you're watching live, please share this out with your friends, your family, your baby mama, your baby daddies, everybody. Even the people that you hate the most in your server, because it's important for these type of community sessions to happen, and they only happen because y'all support. So shout out to Isaac, who's here, Nicholas, Frederick, let's see, we got Thomas, Robert, Richie, BB, OG Boxer, Juliet, Frederick, I'm trying to repeat people who have commented multiple times, Mermaid, Sam, Eddie, Roger, Lonnie, DL Stockwell, Philip, Bobby, Carl, Dwayne, V Ready, go see V Ready, Axstar, OG Boxer, Anthony Garcia, Charles, everybody coming in. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And Andrew says, quit ordering from Amazon. No, but I do appreciate everybody being here. So yeah, let's start with, I guess I'll open it up here in the news right after I sneeze because it's coming. I muted the mic for that. I figured that would have been bad. Shout out Server 54 and Server 27. It was requested, and now it's there. Shout out to you. So we're going to open up the news channel real quick. I want to cover what y'all already saw, and we've actually been able to provide feedback right after this. So I guess that's good. Like very quick, tough acting, enact, and reacting feedback. Jim Allen, thank you for signing up to be a cadet supporting the channel. Greatly appreciate it. I'm not ignoring you. I just want to not forget. So we've gotten this. Now this got posted on Discord as well as your in-game news, but through feedback, they are going to make a couple changes to the Armada style event that we just had this weekend, which most people felt was pretty awful. And they weren't feeling that way just to be malicious. It wasn't something that most people could compete in. Hey Jim, how you doing, buddy? And because of that, there was a low completion rate, a low participation rate, and of course, they tracked that. And I even said that, hey, they had created a pack that was actually good. Shout out server 166 and 51. Like, if you are a spender, and not everybody needs to spend, but if you're a spender, then the pack that was available for you to buy Armada stuff was actually a good pack. I mean, it's the most value we've had in a $100 Armada pack in a while. So we wanted to give them credit when they create that type of stuff. But then there's no point in buying it if you can't even complete Armadas. And there was no Armadas to be found. It wasn't just a, one server, one off. All 7 of the servers I play on had the issue, plus every other server who's in my Discord. It was a very well-known thing. So they're going to make a couple changes. The first change is that they're extending the Rare Armada event another 24 hours. And what this will do is give you more time to find those Armadas. So a 48-hour period instead of 24. Essentially, you get 2 evenings to figure it out. I do think that helps a little bit. Obviously, you'll still have that insane rush the first day where everybody just jumps in and goes, hey, I want to do it first for some reason. And that'll still be present, but you should now be able to use those higher respawn timers to affect. Hey, Sapphire, how you doing? Now, one note I want to make on that is in the phone call I got to have today, Armadas in terms of spawn timers still potentially could be improving again. So based on feedback that they've had, especially over the past week or so, that is something they're looking at doing. However, not something that's coming tomorrow. So like on the list right now, it's not coming tomorrow. That's not bad though. The fact is hearing that type of feedback and then having to make that type of change could take a month, could take whatever it takes. But the fact that they're now looking at that again, saying, hey, maybe the 100% increase wasn't enough, the 50% increase wasn't enough, and that's what was said during the call. That doesn't guarantee, however, it's changing. I don't want anybody to be like, well, Rev said. No, Rev said he talked. Rev didn't say he guaranteed. But we are getting that added through, or hopefully added through in future. And then the second thing that's changing is that they're adding Marauder Armadas. Now, this isn't the only thing that could potentially change. What I actually talked to them about today, and we were talking about this as the in-game news was being released, that there's another set of Armadas that I feel could be added that will be very beneficial to lower level players, and that is Territory Armadas. So one thing that they're now looking at is also including Marauder Armadas, which is going to happen for sure, and if not this time, maybe the next time, including, I can't find a secret lair. Oh gosh. Whole thing. Oh, here's one. So also including these Armadas as well, potentially. This would give you even more options to spend for, especially with the ones that require you to spend the or deal damage to the uncommons, which even those became really difficult to find. Having territories provide some of these because they take the same type of directives could be a nice move by them. And that is another thing that they're currently looking at based on what we talked about today. So, and shout out Space Dad, Server 51, good to see you. It's yeah. Where did somebody was saying something I didn't want to miss it. Chef says, shout out to Server 34 and Epi owes you a Harrison pack. Wow. Why don't you, Chef? You're a whale. Buy your own. Thomas says Rev needs to pay everyone 100 lat for being late. 100 lat does absolutely nothing in this game. So sure, I'll give you 100 lat. Yes, you're welcome. It's now yours. And Skylar says, so no compensation. No compensation. But I will take lack of compensation if it changes how the game works immediately. I'm fine with that. Now, Ardlac has a good question, asking why not Eclipse Armadas? So the current thought against using Eclipse Armadas is they take a different currency. Not everybody has the Stella because it is 28 plus, whereas you are still trying to include players in the 20s. So that would give, I don't want to call it an unfair advantage, it would simply give them another aspect. But the main point seeming to be that it is a different type of currency. So it's the rares and epics. I would honestly say that you can procure these easier, these rares, than you can normal rares. So they're trying to keep it to the same default currency that you would use for epics and rares. You see, I'm sitting on 500 rare Armadas for Eclipse right now. Now, I'm not against pushing for that. And hey, Aaron, how you doing? Good morning to you because you're over in Kiwi land. But the first point that I'm trying to get across to them when I'm having these conversations is to include all types. So not just Federation, Romulan, Klingon, which they're now changing. So you now get Marauders, but also talking to them about including territory captures. That's what we talked about today. Salo says, but you said not tomorrow or 30 days. So Salo, what I said is some of these changes that we're getting is immediate. So the next time these Armada events run, which if you remember in your news section, they are running here soon, then we're going to have a change in those based on feedback that we've put through for the past week or two, especially this past week. I mean, we made a video about it. I know DJ's talked about it a little bit. That is based on y'all saying, hey, we need this to be better. They're making some things better. So Cameron says Borg Armadas. No, once again, we're getting to a different currency thing, and there's no sourcing for Borg Armadas right now, so it wouldn't make sense to add them. The truth is, when it comes to Borg in the game, especially Borg Armadas, that entire thing needs to be wiped and started over. It just didn't launch very well. It wasn't crafted very well. It just needs to restart. And hey, Kitty from 159, I see you. How are you doing? And shout out to Server 13 with Scott. Sammy says, I'm late. Anything big going on yet? Yeah, you just missed the entire spiel. The entire spiel. Chris says Sarco Armadas. So I did mention Burial Armadas. It's still funny to me that those aren't really Klingon Armadas. Once again, I think it goes back to them wanting to include what is the basics that everybody should have and should have access to. And you start having access to basic Armadas at level 23. And I think that, well, you have the access to start them. You can actually participate whatever level. My level 17 account is doing Armadas right now. But the big key was providing these starter sets. So that's why you now can use like Afritalis to run. You can use not Neokeen, but the one below it. You have this epic pirate stronghold. You have all the marauders that you can put forth now. I think that's going to be a good improvement. Dominique says, I don't like Armadas anymore. Dominique, tell me why. This is very, very important to talk about. Why do you not enjoy them? Because one of the things that we talked about in the call today with Ops, or I talked about in the call with Ops, was that Armadas are one of the few aspects in the game that are designed to give everybody a team type of play. So you can actually go out with your group, you can put together your crews, you can try to decide what's going to be the best to get me to where we're going. And this doesn't exist very much besides territories. And as I was explaining in the call, that a lot of places territories have become pretty dead, where there's not a lot of fluctuation. They're kind of set because there's not really any changes going on. And I didn't necessarily try to say that in a problematic sort of way. It's just there's no changes at the moment. So because of that, territories aren't really a team activity as much for a lot of people. So that kind of leaves Armadas and raiding. And with raiding being problematic in terms of how hard it is to find raids in a lot of places, kind of just leaves Armadas. So it has to be something that you want to really source it out to as many people being able to contribute and participate as possible. And that means that you need to allow more Armada options to happen, which is what they're trying to change and do. Now, are they doing enough? Well, I think they could do more, but adding the Marauders Armadas to it and extending the time frame does help with some of the issues. And already, and if you missed this earlier, because I think we got 200 people watching now, if you missed this earlier, they did talk about and have heard the feedback on extending or improving the spawn timers again for the Armadas. I think that is something that we can look at potentially changing again, which is great. And that's all based on your feedback. Now, remember, you need to continually put out feedback. Like, don't be like, oh, well, Rev brought good news, stop saying things. No, you need to continue saying all the things. Say it more, say it louder. But they are getting heard. And this isn't one of those episodes where we're just trying to kiss up to Scopely. But I do think that when they listen, that credit needs to be given, and hopefully we can see things improve. Philip says, what about Swarm Modders? So Swarm Modders are interesting. I think that, once again, we're running into an issue of who all can actually do those or participate. I'm not opposed to doing Swarm Modders. Like, here's a Swarm Horde right here. Where's my thing? And as you can... What? Huh? Okay, sorry. My game is bugging because What? Oh, I'm sorry. I was freaking out because why is my Franklin A showing Warp 65? I just remembered that's actually my ISS Jelly. I'm so sorry. I was like, what is going on? That's my ISS Jelly spot that also operates as my Franklin A spot. And I'm just like, what is going on here? My bad, y'all. I forgot I had used the ISS this morning and had not switched it over. That was just me having a complete brain fart. You will witness those on live stream sometimes where I just completely forget how the entire game works. So I was like, what the heck is going on here? All right. Now it should work. Now it should work fine. Okay, that was embarrassing. Okay. All right, now. Okay, now it's not. We'll ignore it. But anyway, Hugo says, Scopely listened. All Armadas spawn 1 second faster. Lots of sarcasm there. Well, I appreciate the sarcasm because it is a love language of mine, and I'm quite fluent in said love language. But at the same time, I do want to say that I came out of today's call very positive in terms of them listening. And not everything that they do, I'm positive about after talking to them. I've had conversations with them about bracketing, about pack prices, that I just left frustrated. And, that's natural because not everybody's going to agree on every topic. I think that's fine. But I am pretty encouraged from today's conversation, and then obviously from the in-game news announcing it, which, one, that's a huge step in the right direction. Can we remember the days where we literally got nothing said anywhere? Nobody said anything? It just... whatever happens, happens. So at least we're not there. But Siler says they originally set Armadas to be fought over, but based upon server ROE, most don't want that PvP. Sure, Siler, but nobody cares about your server row in terms of scopelet. They don't care about your server row. That doesn't apply to them. Carl says they need to sort the timers for opening the epic chest. Yeah, no argument here. I do think that the cooldowns are quite silly. I think that the game has got some random gates in it for no reason. You know, like you have an epic Armada pack gate, but the gate should be the currency. And now that there are upgraded forms of Armadas, I don't get the whole double gating thing. Sam, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Supporting the channel. That is greatly appreciated. If anybody does want to support, check out the PayPal. That way it comes directly this way. Sam says, start Armada now option. We are sick of wasting 5 to 10 minutes when everyone is already there. So Sam, I'm going to explain the reasoning to that, and I'm not opposed to change. I'm simply going to explain their reasoning for why that exists. So when Armadas originally came out, they wanted a PvP element to be present in terms of you had to worry about defending an Armada and providing cover for the ships that were participating. Now, I had this conversation with them today. That has kind of died off. That doesn't really happen. So I'm not opposed to a change, but I am telling you that their original design was to have that be there for a reason. And now they have done shorter Armada times, like over in Eclipse space, and then Borg space was super short. I definitely would not be opposed to it, but that's their logic and why they've set on it and not changed it. Now, we can continue to push those ideas up. My main push this week was about the Armadas that you can use for events. We're always good for pushing up new ideas. Carl, with the flip side, saying, nah, keep the 15 minutes. It allows you to snipe them. So like I said, there's going to be different types of play styles that impact people differently. So I think the main thing to take away from today, though, or at least the focus of some of this conversation early on, is the Armada improvements that are supposed to be coming and that they're listening to other particular improvements. There's definitely some things that need to improve, like Borg probe sourcing for upgrading officers, independent credit sourcing for upgrading officers, Stella. I mean, there's a lot of things that could be improved in terms of efficiency, because remember, their goal, they do want to up player levels. They want you to level up because they got to bring out new stuff. Can't bring out new stuff if nobody's leveled up enough. So that's obviously something that they've got to work out. And also, I need to go fly to this system now. Fly there. Hidden Beats is certainly a bonus adding non-faction Armadas. Yes, 100% agree, Hidden. And like I said, the goal today is to actually get them to add a couple of more, and the more being the ones in territory space. I hit them up today about adding those in as well, and it might be too late to kind of throw that in and change that mechanic, but hopefully in the for a future run of this style of event for the Armada style, we can change that, because it gives even more options. In particular, when I recommended the territory capture, I was really thinking more towards low-level players, because you have like a level 31 scavenger Armada and stuff like that, and they don't cost as much to run. So using those to score, I think would be really beneficial to the lower-level players. So, Delax says, what about scoring bonus points for stealing an Armada? So, okay, so that kind of brings up some of the faction warfare and PvP elements that we've had lately. PvP is a very tricky thing for them to make. Tracy says no honor in sniping. Disagree. But PvP events are really tricky things to make events for. And the reason being is there is a fine line between PvP and trolling. And nobody wants to create a toxic environment. And too often, a very small group of players will use PvP as an excuse to be toxic. And the game doesn't want to promote that. At the same time, they also want to provide elements of PvP to certain people. So when I think of these things, I think of them in terms of gates. And when I'm saying gates are anything that prevents you from participating in anything, whether it's an event, a mechanic of the game. So you look at Armadas. Armadas have a natural gate of spending a directive to participate. Now you've got one gate. If you created a PvP gate, where essentially now you have to defend in an event, actively PvP defend, you're adding essentially two gates for something that costs money. And I just feel like that would put too much of a sour taste in people's mouths. And while I've always been a very proactive defender of PvP, of OPC as OPC, I at the same time do not want to promote toxicity. And I worry that if we made that, that's what would happen, is it would just be an excuse for people to troll most of the game. I feel like that's problematic. Once again, I'm never opposed to ideas. I will pass along any idea that a large group of people, like, I don't want to pass on ideas that one person has, because that's not a true representation of the community. But if we have something that's a very consistent thing, like you're saying this, they're saying this server's saying it, this whole server came together and voted on it. Those are things that I think we need to examine and be like, hey, let's promote it up. And then when we have these type of streams, we can communicate these ideas and see, like right now we have 240 people watching. What do the 240 people watching think about the PvP changes to Armadas or putting them in there? And if it's something that everybody's starting to agree with, we go, okay, maybe we should start looking into this and how can we make that happen? Hidden says that there's already so much toxicity. Now, I will point out that really varies per server. Most of the servers I am on are not heavily toxic. Are there toxic players? Of course. But I wouldn't call the environments heavily toxic. Now, there definitely are some. But Medical says, didn't know this was a PvP game. Where have you been, Medical? Where have you been? John says that it would be nice to see a few more systems with Armadas in them as well. There are tons of empty systems they could easily add to those existing systems. So I'm not opposed. I do want to remind you that there are actually a lot of Armada systems. Like, here are just the non-40 plus Klingon ones. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. Well, you got 27. So, I mean, that's a lot of just Klingon systems. And then you also have got Romulan, Federation. I'm not sure that the number of systems is the problem as much as the spawn timers of the Armadas. Now, once again, for those who missed it earlier, they are listening to that feedback in terms of potentially increasing the spawn rates again. So they just made a change recently. I think that they agree that wasn't as impactful as they wanted it to be for those events. So they are looking at changing it again, potentially. I'm not guaranteeing y'all that it's happening, but it is something that they're talking about. I'm not sure that if the number of Armadas is an issue. And if y'all disagree, please put in the comments right now that y'all disagree, that you think that it has to be more Armadas. I think it needs to be more about the cooldowns of the Armadas. I think the timers are what needs to get fixed more than the number. And Micah says only 2 systems with 38s. Okay, cool. I'm hearing that. There's only 2 Klingon systems with 38s. There's multiple 38 systems. And I think the issue is the fact that you look at like an Epic Armada, and here, these have the old spawn rates, but I'll show you here on the screen. These are the old spawn rates. You have to do the math to change them up. But see, for example, look at Juji Poo Poo. An 82-hour cooldown on an Epic is the minimum. It's a pretty freaking long cooldown for an Epic Armada. And that is in a 36. So, yes, I think that, and granted, that has already increased, but it needs to increase again. Tracy, where the Armadas are in the game is in my Discord. If you're not in my Discord, feel free to join up. I have that information posted in there. So the spawn rates, I think, are the bigger issue. And if they were spawning 4 times as fast, 3 times as fast, you wouldn't notice them being as problematic as they currently are. I think that's the biggest issue for me. But I definitely want to hear your opinion. I see multiple people saying spawn rates. Frederick saying adjust the cooldown. So I think that seems to be general. Now, once again, awesome for putting in more, but I feel like after working with Scopely for 2.5 years, it's an either or argument. So they're not going to do both. They're not going to give you more and do spawn timers. And hopefully one of them can come in and be like, yeah, you're wrong. We're going to do both. But I feel like they would pick one. And this is the more difficult one. Adding more systems for Armadas is more difficult. That's more work, more coding. This just requires you changing spawn timers. Easier. I figured that's the best way to go. But I'm good for both. I guess my focus is always, I want to try to do it the most likely one to change, like the most likely road to have success on. But I'm good with whatever. Hugo says there are not enough specific Armada level ranges. Our server could use a ton of level 35 Armadas, and only a few alliances are able to kill the 39s and 40s. And like I said, that is going to vary based on server health and stuff. For example, my server, we've got, just in my alliance, we've got multiple level 50s. So Iron Armada, I think, has got 650, 750s. We can complete the 43s and stuff pretty daggum easily. So it's definitely going to vary and change based on different players. Now, once again, and I'll pass this along as well, Swarm Modders as well to add. And somebody mentioned this earlier. Swarm Modders also use the same currency type. That and territory capture Armadas to consider. That was me texting Dev. So spawn rate improving and then increasing the amount of Armadas that count, I think, are the best route to go. Hey, Captain Q. Happy to have you. Alex says, what I also would like on those Armadas, that once the team has arrived, you can press start. Now, we explained this earlier, Alex. I'll repeat myself. The reason that there's not a start now button currently is the original design of Armadas was to allow for PvP to happen. So they didn't want it to be something that you could just complete on a dime. They wanted it to be something that you had to defend, that you had to actively prepare for. And it was something that was meant to be a, gosh, I forget how many rare Swarm Modders are here. Like, my goodness. It's a ton. But they want it to be something that had an element of almost fear. Like, you had to worry about it happening. Now, I'm not saying that it should be that way, but that was the original theme of it. And personally, I don't like the idea of a start now button. I do like the idea of lowering the timer. Like, instead of it being 15 minutes, be 10. I'm good with that. I don't know. It's definitely something that needs to be looked at as a whole, and not just from an individual standpoint of, you know, PvP in one aspect, but Armadas as a whole, because there's not a uniform set for how Armadas are currently working. You know, Armadas are a bit all over the place with how Eclipse works, how regulars work, how, you know, the burials work. So Juliet says Swarm Model rewards are too low and the RNG on Jailer shards should be improved. Sure, Juliet, but that's actually kind of intentional. I mean, it's their idea with anything that says rare or epic is that it is an extreme premium. I do agree that this is nothing, but for a level 1 or a level 2 Franklin, it actually is a decent amount. Not an incredible amount, but okay. I do agree it should be more, though. I also feel like it's a little bit of a different argument, too. You know, it's I feel there are so many different angles that we can hit Armadas from that we would recommend improvements on. I think that's good. One thing I would remind you is please, 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 please put in feedback, not just through me. You do need a comment section in YouTube. Like, we've got to have that. I mean, that's fantastic. And they definitely read that and they take notice of it. But you need to be sending in surveys. You need to be sending in your own comments through the official Facebook page, all that. Are they offering Franklin A parts in your store? So in the pay store, I haven't looked recently. They are offering the skins. Yeah, here's Franklin. It comes with another set of Franklins. But he says, how many rare directives does 8 Jailer shards cost? She isn't free to play accessible. She is currently not. As I said in the previous live stream, they are looking at, I think I mentioned this in the live stream. I can't remember if it was Twitch or here on YouTube. I talked to one of the devs that they are looking at officer procurement and expounding on that again. So we just got it expounded on in terms of the transporter pattern store, and they're looking at other officers to then do the same thing with. So they are making a little bit of movement there. I know it's taking a lot longer than everybody wants. We are making a little bit of movement when it comes to improving officers that we get. Let's see what else we got here in the comment section. If you got any Armada critiques, drop them in. Also, I'd just ask, if you are watching, please hit the like button and invite your friends here who also play the game so we can get their opinion as well. This is the type of stream that we really like to pass along as feedback to the team and say, hey, okay, here's what everybody said. New game currency coming? Casey, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Calm yourself. Tomb World says, my Admiral uses PMC on Armadas and won't change because he brute forces. I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's obviously not an efficient way to do Armadas, but whatever. Whatever. I'm not going to go tell them no. That's what they want to do. Booth says, I think the start now button on Miles would please everyone more than shortening the timer. So personally, I would rather have a shorter timer, not a start button. I don't want the PvP element to be taken out of Armadas. My personal feel. I don't want them to be taken out. I want that to be something that's a threat. I don't want everybody to just discovery in and be like, Armada done. I don't like that. That's me, though. That's me. I encourage everybody to put in their own feedback. And if you disagree, that's awesome. Jeffers and Ryan, if I had an update about photon tokens, I promise you, I'm not lying. I'm not just saying this. I would tell you. You would already know. I would not have to come tell you, nor would you have to ask. If there is an update, you will hear about it. I promise to God you will. Thomas says the start button would make it very easy to steal Armadas versus fight for it. Also agree to that. Yeah, I mean, if you could just jump on somebody who's starting one and then just steal it out from under them. Yeah. I will do that, Thomas. I forgot to have that pulled up because I don't want to, in case the dev who I was talking with, I don't want to skip anything that they said. So Thomas dropped one, says, since we're talking about Armadas, I have a question. I've had a few people in my alliance that don't like my choice of officers on my Stella. When we're doing Armadas, I've been putting in Giorgio as captain and Ash Tyler as a secondary officer along with Lorca. I figured that'd be a good combo with Tyler and Giorgio, but still as double shots. What do you think? I think that's fine. I think that's a fine Stella run. You're basically the support ship. You know, you want to set it up to where, you know, if that's what you're wanting, well, if you want to be the support ship, you want to turn Burning and Hull Breach on for everybody. And you do that by having Lorca or Gorkon and then having Giorgio. It's great to be the support ship. Now, you need to get everybody else to get on board and actually use your supports. You need everybody else to be using something that benefits or having, you know, officers that benefit from those procs. But, you know, usually on Stellas, though, we just recommend like 5, 6, and then Con, or 5, 6, and Decius and stuff. Because Stellas don't necessarily need the huge bonuses, because the Stella, once you get the Stella to research about, research 60 or so, the Joker can solo most Armadas by itself. It doesn't need assistance. So you don't necessarily need to have, hopefully this will flip. You don't necessarily need to have a perfect crew for Stella. Stella are very unique in how they're set up Armada-wise, which is also another reason why not to include them in the Armada events that we're having, because they're just, I feel like Eclipse Armadas are completely on their own. They're not the same as regular Armadas, so I don't necessarily include them. Juan, no, I don't have any update on that. Booth says maybe make so multiple groups can hit the same Armada within the original timer. Yeah, that sounds complicated. Buta says tell them to try and hurry with them. Got like 150 loyalty tokens. Yeah, well, I promise I can't improve that. Promise I can't. Jimmy says, what do you mean by Stella research 60 or so? So if you are familiar with how Stella works, you build it and then you scrap it. And then here's my baby Stella. Here, one. And then as you do that, you can do more research. So like you see, I have slacked on this research, but I've got 10 out of 160 research. And I don't think you can see in the background right there because it's covered up. But this is the number I'm talking about down here. Once you get about 60 good researches into the Stella, you can have Mbanga as captain and take on any Eclipse Armada. So it's a very unique ship that doesn't necessarily rely on officers as much as other ships when it comes to Armadas, because those Eclipse Armadas are based around that ship. Yeah, Micah, I don't give a lot of love to the Stella. It's too much of a grind. I got too many more important things to do. A lot of my time and research is going into the territory tree. See? My territories. I've got my efficient ship max. I've got Explorer Warfare max. I'm maxing out efficient construction. This is a far more important tree to me. Far more important. So that's what I'm focused on. Let's see. James says, on your camping video, you spoke about saving Armada Crest until the next campsite. Would you elaborate using camping at 29 as an example? And do you differ between uncommon, rare, and epic? For sure. I definitely do. And one of the reasons that you want to camp and when you're pulling is based on the ships that you're going to get. So for example, if you're at 29, you've got, those odds of getting the miners. And one thing that I've always talked about is I don't like people getting the faction miners with faction credits, because you want to save those for your big ships and officers. So you want to try to earn your faction miners free to play. So having the Armadas help with that, as well as your killing hostiles, will help you get those pretty quickly. And then doing it at like 34, just simply because you want to work on faster ways to get your epic ship, and you want to avoid those stupid hijacks eventually. Oh God, hijacks are wonderful and awful at the same time when it comes to Armadas. Yes, Juice and Guns. The Armada coin, the Picard coins were just for Picard week. So unless they bring another Picard week up next month, it's probably the last ones. And I'm glad to hear that, Isaiah. Glad to hear that. Christopher says, would love to see ships pulled into combat from the queue as a ship in the battle blows up. You talking about for Armadas, I'm assuming, Chris? Who says, any news on when Armadas that use Platinum Armada credits are coming? Thune. Yeah, it's not even a thing yet. So it's coming in future releases. Well, not releases of the game. Future updates coming. Coming Thune. Coming Thune. Did you ask about the power levels of the new Armadas? What about them, Eddie? I feel like we've had this conversation, but I'm blanking because we're doing so many things. Eternal says, did they fix uncommon resources? What do you mean, what was wrong with uncommon resources? What was wrong with uncommon resources? All right, we got this. Thomas says you still cannot get more. I'm confused. I feel like multiple conversations are happening, and I'm not sure what they are. Y'all got to keep me up to date with what y'all are talking about. I don't even know right now. I feel confuzzled. And I don't like feeling confuzzled. But they removed old currencies from inventory. Well, if they did that, how would you know how long I've been in the game? Come on. Come look at all this stuff I've got, y'all. I mean, look at these old original Borg stuff. Man, look at all these cool things I've got. Deep space data pads. What else we got? Energy manifolds. Cyberpathic interfaces. Batleth tokens. Platinum trophies. I mean, I get to show off how long I've been playing this game with all this, man. My hungry tribbles. Oh, yeah. Look at all this. Look at all of this. Look at all these mission keys I didn't spend. Whoops. Oh, man. Look at this. Look at all of them. All that random stuff. Kevin says the main problem I have with PvP in this game is a few people angry at the world can make the game miserable to play. Yeah, like I said, that's that trolliness, and that's really annoying. Victor says, what happened with the research to fix the refinery? What do you mean? You talking about the research we were doing? That is still being compiled. We literally had hundreds of people participate, so taking all that data and inputting it into a not make me want to bang my head against a wall format takes time. And shout out to everybody who is helping volunteer, like Crown. Greatly appreciate everybody who's helping out with that. Oh my gosh, I could not do it without them. I could not. I could not. Okay, what else we got here? I think I just answered like 15 people's questions at the same time. So that is still oncoming. Now, I will remind you that the primary way of getting a lot of these current uncommons is not meant to be sourced through the refinery. That events are one of the things that they started focusing on to provide those. So even with this information, I'm not sure how much traction we can get. Now, I'm not trying to be futile in it. I am trying to make stuff happen. There's also a couple of questions I'm trying to get answered by this that I'm really interested to track. And I don't want to say what it is because I don't need y'all getting mad if what I think what could be true is true. I don't need y'all being flamey. But there's just how the game works. I'm trying to look up certain stuff with this research as well. And Thomas, you will be getting Worf in the game. Don't you worry. Worf is a-coming. Worf is a-coming. Medical Doctor says, I enjoyed the Picard solo leaderboard friendly fire. I've got no Fed ship, no Klingon ship, and I ranked 18. Congratulations. And hey, Buddha, good to see you. You got used to my voice at 1.5 and 2.0 speed. Oh man, that probably is really, it's crazy that my videos are already so short and you listen to them that fast, Buddha. I guess I'll try to be putting up some quick hitters for you in the future. Just for Buddha. Just for Buddha. Just for you. TNG Wharf. Hey, we have a lot of officers of the same type already, so maybe. Well, Jimmy, you made a horrible life decision to get the Intrepid and the Antares. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you did such a thing. I'm sorry. Corley says, I hope they end this arc with another Borg event and Locutus. Well, we have talked about Locutus a lot, surprisingly. Everybody keeps bringing up Locutus. I don't know if that's actually happening. But that'd be cool. And Robert, yes, 100%. If y'all have not watched Star Trek Lower Decks, it is hilarious. It is hilarious. You should watch it with me. You should watch it with me. Enterprise D, will it be a skin or an event ship? I'll be very surprised if it's not an entire ship. And I also feel like the ship will be an Armada-focused ship. So I've not made a video about Picard yet, Thomas. He basically works like Pike, as we expected, and he's better than Pike. Slightly. Slightly better. Not amazing, but he is better. So... okay. Good evening, Donnie. How are you doing? Good evening, Kai. How are you? Sorry, I'm trying to do dailies and talk about the Armada changes. And by the way, anybody who's come in new, if you did not catch the beginning of the show, if you have any questions about like the news from today, things that the devs were talking about in the conversation and the call that we had today, if you have any questions about any of that, please feel free to drop that in and we'll answer it as we can. Philip says, when's the Lower Deck watch party? If y'all schedule it, I will attend. Y'all schedule it, I will attend. I actually really needed this par still. Thank you. Thank you so much for this par still. Jeremiah says, if they could make a PvP zone around the Armadas with elements like attackers lose attack damage and take more damage, if the idea is to make PvP. That's an interesting thought. You know, I do think that there are ways that they can make PvP more tenable in the game while also not taking away the... What I'm saying is I don't want to dumb PvP down, but at the same time, you don't want it to be just a trolly aspect of the game too. There's definitely some interesting things that could be done to PvP that need to be explored. Let's just put it that way. There's several things that need to be explored. Hugo says that the Picard crew is better than the Pike crew. Pike could also have 300% officer bonus, but there's not a single officer in the Shakedown crew who benefits from it. Not in the Picard crew. Yes, every test that I've run so far is better with running Picard. And Ian, I'm sorry, Billy Bob, thank you for that €3, I think that's a Euro step. Thank you for supporting the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Ian says, below decks, I thought I've seen all the franchises. Free to air or paywall TV. So, Ian, I want to correct you. Both are paywalls. TV is not free. You pay for it. But yes, it is part of Paramount Plus. Most millennials and Gen Z, we don't pay for things like cable and satellite. We do streaming services. So it is on Paramount Plus, and it is one of the best Star Treks. It is hilarious. But you've also got Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks that are going on right now. Prodigy and Strange New Worlds, these two will launch, I think, within a year. So now Prodigy will be on Nickelodeon, and Strange New Worlds will be on Paramount Plus. And thank you, Sherlock. It's a British pound. Thank you. We need the Enterprise E. Yes, maybe. That's British money, so it's worthless. Thank you. I'm just kidding, Billy Bob. Appreciate it. Really do. Yeah, I'm really picky with how I say paywalls and stuff because so many people are acting like streaming services are bad. Streaming services are literally just cable, but for particular channels. Lower Decks is also on Amazon Prime. I did not know that, Donnie. Thank you. I thought you had to have Paramount Plus and Amazon Prime. I didn't know that you just needed Amazon Prime. So. Okay. Let's see. Jimmy says they could do something similar to what they did in Eve, where deep and dark space was PvP. You enter at your own risk. Well, I mean, the entire space of Star Trek Fleet Command is like that. The entire area is PvP. Yeah, so CBS and Viacom own Nickelodeon, Charles. So you'll be able to watch it on either format. Robert says, interesting how different servers respond to different things. Sounds like you still Armadas on yours. We're on 133 is a declaration of war. I'm not, okay, remember, I'm on 7 servers. but I'm not saying there's not repercussions to actions. But the game, that when I'm talking about PvP and Armadas, that's what the game designed it to have. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm saying that is something that they envisioned with it. Now, you can do Armadas however you want. I'm not telling people how to run Armadas. I'm simply saying that was the vision when it was designed, that was going to be an element of Armadas. So, Casey says, I have to give respect to the game where they made the new Dark Space Armadas give a large start chest. Casey, it's surprising you say that. I've also had whales complain it's not enough. So, I think that it's one of those that you never can make everybody happy, which I guess is pretty normal. You can't make everybody happy. In the UK Amazon Prime, maybe not all the territories. Oh, thanks, Juliet. Yeah, I mean, if y'all have not watched Prodigy, it's made by the creator of Rick and Morty, or the writers of Rick and Morty. And it's just great hilarity while also being very Star Trek at the same time. So I've really enjoyed watching it. And then Picard, I love the season of Picard. I didn't like the ending, but I love the season. Hugo says, it's very easy to make us happy. Give us everything. Give us all the things and we'll be happy. No, you wouldn't. You'd still be upset. Well, Thomas, I cannot stream Lower Decks on Twitch. That's literally illegal. Now, if y'all have a watch party on Discord or something and somebody streams it and it's not me, I won't tell. But I can't stream it on Twitch. That's literally how I get my Twitch channel shut down. So that's a no-no. That's a no-no. Tim says in most cases, Scopely seems to have confused not make everyone happy with make nobody happy. Well, I can tell you that there's a tricky thing that they have to try to balance. And, you know, we even talked about this in my conversation today with the devs. And, you know, they have requirements that are set by them as a company of what is expected of them. You know, money that they're expected to earn in a month or a quarter, and directions that they're being told to go. And then you've also got the development side of like what the IP might want at times. And then you've got the players, and you've got to try to find a way to keep both people happy. And that's an extremely difficult tightrope to try to walk through. I'm not jealous of their job. I got the easy job. My job is to critique them, and it's pretty easy to critique them. So I'm not envious of what they have to do. And I even say this all the time. I don't feel like they do some things as well as they should. But at the same time, you know, they do what they got to do. Also, wow, I had like 2 health left. Casey says, I got to run to get my daughter for 10 minutes. I've been wanting to catch you to ask if you watch Space Command. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. How can you get Star Trek Fleet Command on the computer? So, Vitaltis, I play through an emulator, an Android emulator called BlueStacks. Oh, Neil, because I don't need the standard modulators, so I don't care if I'm full. But yeah, I play through an emulator called BlueStacks. And I've actually got a video up on my channel for how to set up BlueStacks on your computer. Now, before everybody who has an Apple asks me, no, there is not an iOS emulator that I can give you. Not one. Robert says everyone would declare their love for the devs if photon tokens and 5 were added to transporter patterns. I'm so tempted to say something right now. I'm so tempted to say something. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to leave that alone. Pretty sure if the price of packs was lowered to like 1/5, there'd be a lot more than 5 times the sales. There would not, Walter. Don't worry. They have studied this demographic very, very heavily. I promise you. They would lose money if they lowered the pack prices. Now, what they need to do is have more of both. Leave the $100 packs because that's what makes them most of their money, but have more $20 options. That's what they need. You can whisper it instead of saying it. I'm gonna hold off on it. But I'll tell you what, for those of you who support the channel financially, in my captain's quarters, I have dropped hints. yeah, it's I'll just say that. Make sure you're in the Discord, and if you support the channel, stuff gets said there. Thank you, King Vegeta. Says here's $5 by not saying it. You said it. I didn't say anything. I'm saying I was debating on whether to say something. So nothing slipped. Y'all are trying to catch me. Nothing happened. Oh, there was no slippage. Nothing. We are steadfast on the floor. Steadfast. Oh, gosh. Drew says I don't have access and I'll support you with biddies. Well, Drew, then you need to message me. I can't give you access unless you prove that you help. So, Nathan says the $50 pack helps sell the $100 packs by putting both up for comparison. That's also true, Nathan. Yeah, I mean, a great example, and I did this the other day. Let's talk about the Armada stuff, because remember I talked about the Armada pack being a great value, but I kind of just ran through it real quick. Where's that Armada pack? So look at this $100 Armada pack for me. This is, so the regular $99 Armada pack does not include this, has 3 times less of this, has less of these, and less of this. So this pack is literally everything and more for the same price. And if you compare it to the $50 one, it's way more. So yeah, it definitely incentivizes spending when you have those comparisons. Neum says, how much do you spend a month on this game? It varies between $20 and sometimes $300. Now, when I spend $300, it's because people like you will donate saying, go buy this pack to do a study on it. So like people have bought me Harrison this past month. Epi bought me Harrison. What Trevor bought me the USS Franklin A. So I've had players who would donate, but generally of my own money, I guess it's all my own money, I try to spend the battle pass. And that's generally about it. Moon says we need a $200 pack. Well, they actually can't do that. They are limited to $100. That's the cap for Apple and Google. You can't go any higher. So that's why, if you're wondering why they'll make packs like this skin pack where it's limit 4, so basically you have to spend $200, is because they can't make a $200 pack. So they just split it up. There you go, Gabe. There you go, Gabe. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. No word on the Franklin A parts pack? What are you talking about? This pack? This? And Gabe, I'm glad you enjoy the live chats. I do too. What level do those skin packs become available? 34 or 35, I think, Frederick. Robert says, will there be an update for the territory? Until our alliance and another started to make a move on our server, hadn't moved for a few months. That is a conversation we had today, but I did not get any information about that happening in the near future. So I'm definitely can push on that. Can definitely push on that again. Yeah, Charles, they will source that at some point. Obviously, they're going to charge for it first. But yes, you will be able to eventually work on those as a free-to-play grind. Yes, you will. Let's see what else we got. Nothing compares to the value of the Vault of Latinum. The Vault of Latinum has been appearing and disappearing for a while. I wonder if it's actually in here right now. I haven't looked in several weeks. Let's see if it's come back. Oh yeah, I've got my Vault of Latinum. Woohoo! Best pack in the world. It's amazing. It would get me to 500,000 lat, so there's that. Let's see what else. Will you be putting your Fox avatar back on? I've thought about it. I mean, I haven't, obviously, but you know, it's but focusing on other things. I'm not opposed to it. Man, why is my phone blowing up? I think they should add a multiplier to our 10-minute, 4-hour, and 24-hour based on what we have bought. I think I see what you're saying. I think I understand. But what other questions and comments do we have, everybody? We're about an hour into the stream, so Wharf or Enterprise D, which is first? I would say Wharf is first. Do projectile shard abilities stack, or do you have to choose? They stack. I mean, once you activate them, Paul, they're active forever. So, and thank you for. I'm glad you enjoy. What do you think is the best bang for your buck? About what, Gabe? In reference to what? Charles, typically I recommend that people go from 35 to 39. So quite a few things. When the store is a very relative statement, Gabe. I mean, like for example, this Armada pack is a great value if you do a lot of Armadas. This Positron Phaser is not a good value at all. You know, I mean, the Battle Pass is a great value. I mean, this is the best $20 you can still spend in the game. Bar none, no argument. Best one that you can do. You know, this is not bad if you're a level 20 player. Level 25, the monthly pack is really beneficial. You know, the tickets, nope. The Franklin Warp Core, nope. I mean, so it kind of varies. I don't know Worf's abilities, Kaiser. I just know he's coming, and I know he's a rare. Unless they've changed it, he's a rare. So I don't know his abilities, though. Prime Officers is definitely a good $100, or you can wait till level 34 and get it for free by scrapping ships. Let's see. What are we going to have next in the question list? There should be an additional reward for completing every daily. So what are you thinking? Because you get now loyalty badge. They did add this a few months ago. I mean, they didn't used to have 24 hours in shielding. Now you have 24 hours in shields that were added. I do agree that I think at level 39, you could give me more Latinum and more Ultra Recruit tokens. I think this would be something that they should improve the sourcing on, because we have so many officers, we should be able to do more pulls from completing dailies. And that's something that maybe we can bring up the next conversations that we have. But Second Researcher, probably the best long-term pack. That is a good one, Matthew, and I have purchased that on my level, well, my server 63 account, and I've got it here on my server 20 account. Yeah, 50 billion is not enough to get to 42. I think it's like 70 billion. I think it's 70 something billion to get you to 42 from 39. Second Research will help. It's helping me catch up. I mean, I need to fly through more of these, but yeah, it really helps. I mean, I respect people who play completely free to play, but that Second Researcher definitely speeds up the process a little bit. I like that. Because I do my refineries, because I always forget about them. Resources. Yeah. Let me get these biotics. Love my biotics. Can't justify 4 times markup on second builder. I mean, yeah, if you don't want to buy it for that reason, great. But is it extremely useful? Yup. I'm not going to lie to people. That Second Researcher is very, very good. It still should be the same price as the second builder, in my opinion. But whatever. Use my lad on what, Robert? What do you want me to use my lad on? What would you like me to use my lad on? Maybe I want to be a whale. I want to have 1 million. I want to have 1 million lat. What do I think about the minor packs? What do you mean the minor packs, DH? What minor packs are you referring to? This? The prime material? This is awful. I mean, I wouldn't buy this. That's just for the away team's prime research. I wouldn't buy it. How do players get the new Franklin? By scrapping your old Franklin, Andrew. You take your old Franklin to level 41, so tier 9, and scrap it, and you get the new Franklin. My base? I'm somewhere in Fed space right now. But anyway, I was trying, which my research speed up? That's not minor research. What are you talking about? And you've also got these primes. Are you asking about Mackinnon and DuPont? Because those are good officers. You know, I hate to tell people to purchase things, but I have both of these and they work really, really well. Let's see. I've got both of those. All right, what else we got? Walter, so yes, the Franklin A caps out at level 45, but you only need to get to level 41 to scrap it and get all the parts that you need to build the Franklin A. So it saves you a little bit in ship experience. So Thomas says they should let us collapse hide pack offers that we're never going to purchase. Just use this. Just turn this on. Bam. Now there's no packs in the store. Oh, it feels great, man. It just feels so loosey-goosey. Look, this is just so... Oh, man. I feel so light and free and flowy. Oh, man, this is great. Woo! Oh, isn't that good? Isn't that good? Yeah. All right, we're going to turn that back on. Bam. Charles says, either of those or 2 of 10 ever getting in-game sourced? Yes. I don't know when, but yes. The answer to that is always going to be yes. I just don't have specifics of when that's going to be. But like we've got, if you come into like your premium recruits, we've got a lot of the Borg in here now that didn't used to be in here. They've gotten added. And we don't care about any of those. Like 7's in here now. That wasn't the case. 10, 6, 5. So we got some of those in there. Of course, you got Yuri and Mud who've now been added. And then if you go into your premium, you got a little bit more in terms of epics. And then you got the Row and the Avix. And it's kind of getting a little bit too widespread for me in terms of what's available. But they will eventually get added. They just wait a long time. Yes, it's awful and annoying. But Gabe, yeah, I've actually got a playlist in the background. Not a DJ, but that would be cool. That'd be cool if I had my own DJ. Hey, we're a third of the way to Giorgio. Yay! Ensign Boom Boom? What a name, Jimmy. What a name. Nicholas says, I have DuPont and Mackinnon, but I notice I don't get charged for them unless I purchase them. No, that's how it is, Nicholas. They're not in packs at the moment. They're not in packs at the moment. Buddha, I'm not going level 40 for quite a while. My research has still got a ways to go. You know, I'm going to be maxing out. So give you an example of some of the things that I'm going to be doing. These will be level 39, these buildings. I've been saving them for leaderboard events. We're trying to, but I've got to upgrade them at some point. So everything efficiency, all of these will be maxed before I level up. All of these will be maxed. The optimized research, the ship upgrades, the construction, all this will get maxed before I'm going to level up. I'm probably going to max out the repairs before I level up. Then you come over to the station tree. I've got to finish maxing out my pure. So I've only got 8 out of 10. These got to get to 10 out of 10 first. Then I've also got to do... probably going to take these semi-high, but I got to decide which ship I'm going after. So, but saving these because of cost. I've just got several research I'm going to do first. Short answer is a lot of research first. Why have I not purchased those primes? Gabe, money. I'd rather put it towards the house fund. And if anybody likes to donate to the house fund, you can do that right here. Remember, any $20 or higher donation gets your name on the wall in the house. We are currently on the goal. We're trying to earn a down payment for the house. So all donations are appreciated. Gabe, yeah, scrapping is great and well and everything, but I'm saving a ship. I've got a Legionary. Here, let me show you. I've got a Tier 1 Legionary ready to go, but I need an event to spend uncommons on, so there's a point. Thank you, Brian. I don't trust that, though. Bearded Scotsman, I have not been told any specific ones, besides the fact that you have got more independent credits being sourced in things like event stores. But there's not been a new way mentioned. Hey, Zoomer, how you doing? Why is LAT grayed out for research if you have all the materials? So if any research requires uncommons, it does not allow you to use any type of LAT, because LAT cannot be used for uncommons. So that is your logic and reasoning. Eddie, thank you. I will gladly go in your will And since I know that you're 700 years old, I'll take that very soon. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. I need to get this next tier. Do bigger donations get you a bigger picture on the wall? Yes, actually. So we track the level of donation, and the bigger the donation, the bigger that person is going to be on the wall. So we've had 2 whales donate a significant amount. I mean, you see the amount that's there, so it's obviously not like I got $10,000 or anything. But we got 2 really big names and then a bunch of like smaller names. But hey, that's how it works. That's how it works. Micah says, I want a fat head.
I'm looking forward to completing
that
training.
That feels different.
In time, you will call.
Twisted Zen, thank you for following on the Twitch channel. We're not streaming on Twitch, but the alerts are turned on, so I gotta say thank you. Jimmy says, not that great. I had a migraine earlier, but I'm feeling a bit better. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Eddie says, if I donate half, will you frame a pic of my butt on the wall? I'll tell you right now, Eddie. Anybody that donates $15,000 can put a picture of whatever the heck they want on the wall. Preferably not something too bad because I will have company over. But yes, you donate $15K, short answer, you can have that on the wall. Thomas says, what's the biggest donation? So I don't want to give out names just for privacy's sake, but the largest donation is, and I'm only telling y'all this because y'all are asking, by the way. I really try not to be that content creator who's just begging for money. I just randomly post it every now and then. If y'all want to donate, great. The largest amount so far is $1,000. That is the largest amount of donation we've had so far. So. Nicholas says, can you grind for Saladin BPs? Yes, you can. I did a video about that a few months ago, so it's been a while. But basically, any level 32 or higher system or 31 and higher system, you can grind out like Centurion, Bortus, and Saladin BPs in their respective faction spaces. A day spa? Is my voice really that soothing? I don't see myself as that, but I mean, I very much take the compliment. Where's my ship? Where's my ship? I've lost my ship. What was here? What spot? Oh, okay. It was the auger. Vestagrana Covort. So you're going to go pretty high, William. Probably looking at 38s, 39s, and 40s for those BPs to drop. Is it worth getting the G4 miners anymore given the disco? And I've said this before, if you're on a server that's not as contentious as some others, where you're not having to worry about that miner being blown up and you can afford the resources, yeah, G4 miners they mine really fast and they have huge cargo holds. So yeah, but, oh, William did ask system. Tygo Core. At the same time, it's a lot of resources. A lot of resources for that ship. An insane amount of resources for that ship. Jason says we need some non-fed officers. Yes, 100% agree. Have been working on that. Been pushing for that. I'm going to have another video about that. Yes, I am. All right, what am I doing here? Y'all have made me forget. You've made me forget. I think we need to go do our Borg. We need to go do our Borg. We need to put this here, sort by group. 7 of 10, come and visit me again. Thank you, 7 of 10. It's a sing song. Woo-hoo-hoo. See, is 9 of 10 gonna be better for me here? Nah, we'll just run this even though it's not an Armada. We'll just do this. All right, so you have so much Latinum. I would too, but I've almost finished my level 39 research. Very nice. Congrats. Yeah, I'm just not spending my Latinum. Every time the Parabellum event comes around, I just take the lat and I don't spend it. Let's see. Still a long ways away from maxing this thing out. Pipe Road Talon is not the best for Borg, but it is good, Micah. Not the best. Let's see. My alliance has a couple of Enterprise A's and Tribunes and Pilums. Best seems to be Int. No, bro, the Enterprise A is the worst, Casey. That is very, very wrong. The Enterprise A is the worst. I don't know what testing y'all have run. The Enterprise A is the worst of the three by a long stretch. Matthew, it does not actually work in PvP. It doesn't work in PvP. I know what it says. It doesn't actually work. It shows up in the log, but it's not actually making a change to the stats. How do you get by not spending lat? Being patient? Yeah. Only thing that lat really gets spent on is things like speed ups. I mean, sometimes ship parts, but I get all my speed ups from my dailies. Will Picard be as essential of an officer as Pike? Well, I mean, yeah, it's you look at Picard now, Picard, Beverly Crusher, and like Chin is better than Pike, Moreau, Chin. So, I mean, yeah, Picard is basically replacing your primary crew. He's really, really good. Yeah, Buddha, not only common gas and ore in the 40 plus range, but ship parts really start killing you. Common ship parts. That's what hurts. Yes, the Augur can compete against the Enterprise. I think we've done a video on that. Might have been a while. Let's see what else we got. Picard, Rare Beverly, and 6 of 10 right now for me is what I run. Against what? That's a really weird loadout, Fred. Are you just running that against Armadas? Let's see what else we got here. Comments and questions are definitely welcome if you're watching live. I'm really curious where Casey was. Casey, no, it's not, man. I've got literally hundreds of logs of the Enterprise A getting beat by everything. Newtons, Tribunes, Hegtas destroy it. It's awful. I'm really not sure what you're seeing, but the Enterprise A is the worst ship in the game compared to its counterparts. It's like we talk about there being a gap between like the Saladin and the Centurion and the Bortus. There's a massive gap between the Enterprise A and like the Tribune. Nowhere near as good. It can only win through brute force. Like if it's just several tiers stronger. Properly crewed, a Hegtai will beat an Enterprise A. Tribune will definitely smack it. Not very good. Now, I want it to be better. Don't get me wrong. It just needs work. It needs big work. Can you cover which uncommons are needed for faction miners and why you don't recommend getting them? Yeah, I mean, I made a video about it, but I can cover it real quick. But the essential is that the faction miners that you get at level 32 all require crystal for no reason. Like they don't, even though they're faction miners, you would think one would be gas, one would be ore, but it's not. They're all crystal. And then just because even with a maxed out Vidar, getting faction credits can still be strenuous when you need 180,000 to get an epic ship at 34. You need, several thousand, probably a good 200,000 to max out officers. You want to make sure that's a priority. So there's a lot that you have to do before then. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't get them. I'm just saying know what you're getting into if you choose to go the faction miner route, because you'll naturally get those by grinding. You'll kill several different, hostile types that drop like cavorts, and you can just build a cavort and not having to spend any faction credits on it. Gara, we did figure out what the problem was in that live stream where we had a math problem. I actually talked about it in the last video, but we figured it out. Let's see. Yeah, Casey, I'm glad that you had a beautiful battle, but I'm telling you, like, how the game works, the Enterprise A is not good. The others are better. But, yeah, I mean, it is strong. I mean, you could have a 35 million Enterprise A. Let's see. Bobby says, if I scrap my Franklin and get the Franklin A, is the low-level Franklin A strong enough to get me through my dailies? Yeah, easily. It'll definitely get you through 32s. I mean, I don't know if you saw my Franklin A, but my Franklin A is tier 2 at 700-something thousand. It's definitely strong enough. He says, I bought my first faction miner, but the other two I've gotten through rare pools and grinding. There you go. There you go. And yes, you will need to be level 35 to do it, by the way, Bobby. But yeah, I mean, you can grind out pretty easily everything that you need. What else we got? Question-wise. Andrew says, grinding on Klingon traders drops Kvorch frequently. Yep. In my opinion, faction miners are the best for base rating. Of course, yeah, they're definitely the best base rating because they have larger cargo holds. But, and yes, it is the USS Trevor, Hugo. But I think for faction miners, it's more the initial cost and then operation that people have to be mindful of. As long as people are mindful of that. Also, Thomas, I'm not saying that people shouldn't get the Enterprise. I'm talking about the Enterprise A. And still, you should get the Enterprise A if that's what you want. Just be aware of its weaknesses. The Enterprise A's biggest problem is it basically has no ship ability. So, that's problematic. Now, the regular Enterprise is the opposite problem. The regular Enterprise, like this one, is too good. Like, this is ridiculously too strong. People use this as a PvP ship in the mid-40s because of how strong it is. Nicholas says, for Saladin BPs, been farming in IT systems around in Andoria, not having much luck getting BPs. 50 chests and then opening. I mean, just grind however much you think. I mean, I grind 200, 300 boxes at a time when I'm doing pulls. Just make sure that you're going up in levels. I mean, so hit as high as you can and grind them out. David, I would say that, yeah, epic and rare pulls are somewhat reliable. I mean, you're not necessarily getting heavy amounts, but you do typically get them. Why is the Enterprise strong? Yeah, it has a built-in officer, which is really nice. Which is the same reason the Tribune is so dang good, as a built-in officer. I would recommend hitting level 39s and 40s if you're trying to get more blueprints, 38s. So that'd be systems like Wolf, systems like Andoria, which I see a couple people mentioning. Use those systems to kind of get more of what you're looking for. Charles, if you've got somebody running Giorgio, then I would put on your auger 5 of 10, 6 of 10, and then literally anything else, Ash Tyler, DCS Khan, any of that group. Kay says the Trib is great for stations and mods. The Tribune is great at everything. The Tribune's the best PvP ship in the game in terms of actual win ability, and it's just great at everything. Its ability is OP. Just put it that way. It's really overpowered. And I love the Hegta. That's probably the one I'm going to go after. But Tribune right now is the best ship in the game in total. Ian says, when will Scopely stop disadvantaging everybody who wakes up before New Yorkers? Never, because you can't change the fact that there's time zones. So, and the real people who get disadvantaged are who have their resets at, like, the middle of the night. Casey, I don't know what you're trying to prove to me, man. I've got logs from literally several dozen servers. We studied this for months. I'm not just telling you to talk. I'm telling you that Enterprise A is not better than the Tribune in any way. Tribune is the best ship. What about Enterprise blueprints? Welcome to my dork side. Are you asking, can you grind them? Because you can't. You cannot grind for an epic ship blueprint until deep space, like Warp 120. So there's not a way to just free to play grind in terms of killing hostiles in Enterprise. Gara says, for the broken ship parts for G4 ships, what level should I start grinding those? I mean, I'm doing it now. Like, so I will go grind in Groombridge, and any ship like 40 and higher is going to drop those parts. I already collect them. And then if I do more than the single pull a day, so like if I get like 5,000 broken parts, I'll do the simple 2,400 refined to start getting some commons. So it's obviously level 41 is where you want to focus on, because that's where you start getting the uncommons. But I'm already starting to slowly build a stockpile of commons, because that's a big bottleneck in the game for a lot of people. So I'm focusing on the Explorer parts and commons, and then also the miners. I haven't done much of the interceptors, or I don't think any of the battleships yet. Vulture says time zones are stupid. Takes a fair bit of planning here to keep mining during the night to count for the next dailies. Yeah, I mean, some people are just in really bad locations. Some people are in very beneficial locations. So. Sorry, Gabe. The hijack ships are no different than the regular ones. They literally cost more to make, and they have less advantages because they don't get bonuses to like faction bonuses. So they don't even count as faction ships. So they're not like Romulan, Klingon, or Federation. And then they cost more because you have to pay that uranium and stuff to upgrade them. So you actually can't even max a hijack ship to like level 32, which is stupid, or level 30. Really stupid. Nicholas says, I have a tier 4 Mayflower and it is ready for tier 5. Is it worth tiering that as quickly as possible? Well, I would say you want to focus... Plutonium, thanks, Hugo. I always mix those up. I would say you want to focus on your level 28 faction ship. The only thing that you really want the Mayflower for is for scrapping at level 34. But, yeah, I mean, if you want to go ahead and start taking it up, if it's your best ship, use it until you get the level 28s. And those are going to be your primaries. Those will be your best ships. And I agree, OG Boxer, the hijack ships do look great. Hey, Angelo, what you doing, Epi? How you doing, man? Hope you're having a good day. Don't forget, Sunday, I think. Sunday, we're hanging out, right? And Kaiser's right. You also can't scrap hijack ships, which makes them even less value because now you can't get primes with them. So it really sucks. I love how they look, and I have all 3 of them, but it's not really beneficial to do anything with them. The red D3 is cool. Yeah, that was for a special Separatist event that came out like January of 2019, and they haven't run it again. I keep asking them. I agree, Hugo. Yes, Sunday. Don't let me forget, Epi. Oh, man, I don't plan on forgetting. Just make sure I don't. I don't plan on it. Just make sure I don't. I don't know if you can scrap the Separatist D3, Gabe. To be honest with you, I'd have to ask because I never got one. Thomas, currently there is not a free-to-play path to the Vidar skin, but they will be bringing that back around as well as the Stella skin again. So it will come back around, yeah. And I really like those skins. They're very, very useful. Jeff says that Epi owes me a Harrison pack and my sister her child support. Wow. That's like, I know you're on the same server, but man, that's intimate. Tim says Katinga or Valdor, which one is better overall? I'm going to go with the Valdor just because battleships just get on my nerves with how slow they are. But I think both are okay. The 46s are where you really want to be. The Coronar, the Newton, and the Pilum are the best bang for your buck. And a lot of whales still recommend skipping the early ones and skipping the 42s even with the cost reduction. Now that's kind of up to you. Like if you're a free-to-play player going into the 40s, I wouldn't recommend skipping them because that's way too long to wait for a new ship. But let's see what else we got here in the questions and comments section as I try to hunt down these probes. Can't scrap the red D3. That makes sense, Aaron. I didn't remember if you could or not, but why would you want to? Because there's no way to get that skin back if you get rid of it. It's a complete waste. SVS's best place to grind Klingon rep in non-deep space. That would be any of the Federation systems like Groombridge, Alpha Centauri, all those places. You're simply trying to hit the highest traders that you can hit and still be able to pull, you know, decent number of kills. Like, you don't want to go somewhere and only get 4 kills. You're shooting for 20, 30, 40, 50 kills. No, you should not skip the ISS Jelly. The ISS Jelly will be your main PvE grinder. So for doing your hostiles every day, that's going to be your main ship. Way cheaper to operate, cheaper to upgrade. You don't really want to take it max. Like, you don't want to take it to like tier 9, 8, or anything like that. But very good ship. It's not, however, a PvP ship. Let's get that out the way. It's not something that you want to go PvP with. Casey, Pilums can kill Enterprise A's if they know what they're doing. Pilum is the best firing pattern to start, like the best first shot in the game. But Ira says you might want to take it to tier 9 if you skip the Valdor. Yeah, maybe Ira, but how much is that going to benefit you in PvE in terms of grinding? I'm not sure how much. But yeah, I mean, if you're skipping the uncommons, you can justify that extra tier, and it makes sense. A lot of people I know will stick to around tier 7 because the costs haven't gone up super high. You look at like tier 7, 8, 9, the uncommons really jump. And then there's this little bracket where you switch over to needing rares for the ISS. And then it's kind of more useful or easier to upgrade, but you have to go through a lot of uncommon to get there. Joseph, I just say push to 39. That's what I recommend. David, dual factioning after 10 mil is kind of up to you. If you're a free-to-play player, I would say that dual factioning makes sense because it's going to take you a long time. If you're a player who spends a little bit, so you level a little bit faster, single faction to get that 1 bill lock and then work on a second one. But it kind of depends on your play style. And if you're a player who does a little bit of spending, dual grinding is going to kind of slow you down a little bit. Where if you're free to play or close to free, you know, it's not going to benefit you to lock out anyway. So exactly, Ira, which is why I don't recommend a lot of people get to that level. Like tier 8-ish is okay, like where you complete 7 and just get to 8. Because you're still not, but those last 2 tiers of uncommons is extremely expensive on the ISS. So Thomas, you have an ISS Jelly event that comes around if you're level 36 or higher to earn it like auction style. And then there's also Armada. So like at level 38, you can get a full pull of an ISS Jelly. Now it's rare, obviously, but you know, through Armadas, you can start getting it. And then there's also the territory capture options if you're an alliance that holds those territories, and that's also a great way to go about it. You know, it's kind of up to you. Nicholas says, is there a good burning crew that doesn't include Nero or Giorgio? Not really, no. You know, some people have used like Merrick as captain and stuff, but there's really not one because you want that multiple turn burn. Well, Universe, what exactly are you asking? Like for me, my ISS is kept at tier 2 right now because I'm saving tiers. I do a lot of planning. So I'm saving upgrades for certain leaderboards. So I could take it to probably tier 4 or tier 5 right now. Yeah, Kevin, that's what a lot of people do. And that's not a bad strategy. Let's see. We've been about an hour and 30 minutes live here. So any other remaining questions that you have, shoot them in. And then I've got to do... Now, real quick, there's 280 people of y'all watching. Raise your hand if you're a nerd and you like nerdy things, including, and I know I've been mentioning this a few times here and there, including trading card games. If you're not, it's cool. I'm mad at you about it. But I do want to get y'all's opinion on a couple of things. Why is Firefox updating? Ira says hand raised with capitals. I like you, Ira. All right. Epi says no cards. Epi, you're going to get the cards no matter what. Okay, you hear me? You're getting the cards, so suck it up. You're going to support everything I do, no matter what. So I had a meeting with my artist earlier today, and I just wanted to show y'all like one or two of the sketches and get your thoughts on them. Basically kind of get feedback and everything. Feedback's good, right? Feedback good? Everybody like feedback? Yay, feedback. So, download this one. So what I'm going to download and show y'all is some of the art that is being sketched to put into the cards. So I just wanted to get some real quick opinions while I had y'all here. Obviously, these are not complete art, by the way. They're all sketches. But I want your opinions. I care. I got to know if this is something you're like, oh, man, this is starting to look cool. Maybe I will spend 20 bucks on something one day. Here we go. Stop! I don't know how to navigate my own computer. There we go. This is a sketch from one of the characters for the cards. I'm just curious, y'all's thoughts, feedback. If it's ugly, needs change. This is one of them. I'll show you a couple more. Nut says help should only be limited by the number of members. We have 77 members. We should get that many helps. Yikes. That would break the game. What's up, Saint 1415? Yeah, Wesley's okay. Frederick says that's great. Okay, cool. So you like the first one. Sweet. So this is going to be a card called Misty, the Goddess of Death. And then let me do another one. Here is another one. This is Unduthu, who is an orc general. Thighs too big. He's a freaking orc. He's an orc. You like that one? Sweet, sweet. This is good. I can pass this on to the artists that we're working with. So like I said, the trading card game I'm making is trying to be legit. It's trying to be legit. So here, I'll do you one more. Now, this one needs a little bit more work, but this is the Witch of the Half Moon. This is the Witch of the Half Moon. So I've got several others, but this is another one. Sam says choke up on the sword, I guess. I see the loincloth comment there, Mr. Ken. So, and then for those that don't remember what the basics of the card look like, here is the card outline. So this is, whoops. And here is the cards. Now this art is not going to be one we use, but this is an example. So anyway, I was really curious y'all's thoughts. We're kind of in the alpha stage. We haven't even moved to like Kickstarter or anything, but pretty cool. I'm excited about it. I just wanted y'all's thoughts. Ian says, you just keep repeating my question. Ian, what did you ask? Anyway, if y'all are interested in that stuff, like you actually play trading card games and you're interested in the game, I have a Discord for it. If y'all want to join, no requirement, of course. But we are trying to move it to the next stage. And yeah, y'all can come join if you want. Nuts says the orc is awesome. Looks like you got trolls. There's going to be some interesting stuff. There's going to be some interesting stuff in the game. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm also wanting some, yeah, Buddha, it is going to have foils. So rares and legendaries will have foils. They'll be in the booster packs. And yes, there will be. One thing I love is getting hollow cards. So that will be something that does exist. This is, are they going to fix the refinery function? It's not broken, Sith. What do you mean? It works exactly how it's supposed to. You just don't like how it works. You just don't like how it works. Which I understand. But but it does work correctly. I want to point that out. It does work. Oh man, thanks everybody for joining, by the way, because that channel that you're joining, it's got a lot of notes. We're all trying to come up with new mechanics, play test the current ideas. I'll preview some different things that are in it. So everybody welcome to come in and help out, and y'all are awesome. So, Sis says my level 23 ops refinery gets better mats than my level 35. Man, your RNG is nuts. You're one lucky son of a gun, because that is not the case for me. Paul says the refinery building doesn't work. I mean, it does. So there's a difference. Like, the refinery building not working means you're not getting anything that you're supposed to get. You are. You're just not getting the amount that you want. Andrew says, I'm 10 shards from unlocking Pike. Does he need to be leveled to be good? Nope. He is good right out the gate. You pair him with Moreau and then Chinner Talon, and you are ready to go. Doesn't need to be tier 5. Doesn't need to be level anything. It's his captain's ability with synergy that's immediately good. It's the same way with Picard, by the way. Jean-Luc Picard is good as soon as you get him, once you pair him with a Federation officer. And the cool thing about Picard is he's got versatility, where you can actually stack him with like Geordie LaForge in terms of going after armadas in ways that you can't really stack Pike as well. Now, you can stack Pike for certain things, but you're going to have more versatility with Jean-Luc Picard. So Nicholas, I recommend camping at 29 and then maxing out all that research and stuff. It's a good level to camp at. When are we expecting our Centurion video? Carl, if I can get it done tonight, it'll be tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. That's what I'm trying for. Eddie, message failed to load. Not sure what you're talking about. Yes says, what was that latest Armada pack in the store? A one-time purchase, or could you buy more? Yes, I haven't purchased it, but I believe you can get multiples. Anybody in chat who has purchased it, a couple people earlier were talking about they had bought it. So if anybody knows, please just chime in real quick. But pretty sure it can be purchased twice. Ian, please stop spamming. Okay, Eddie, I just had to apply you a role. I've added you a role, so you should be able to see the basic chat now. Let's see. Brian says, how fast do you recommend moving up to the next camping level? So I'm going to make a video about camping at 29. William says only a one-time purchase. Oh, that sucks. But it's still a good pack. The things I recommend doing is completing all your efficiency researches, completing faction researches, taking your away mission research as high as you can, taking territory as high as you can, which is not far, really nowhere, and getting your Saladin, Border Centurion maxed. Those are your focuses at level 29, and then you move up to 35. You're also going to want to have a stockpile of faction credits for the epic ships, and you're going to want to have officers to a certain degree. Like, you really want to have like Spock maxed and Bones and Kirk, and you want to get them tier 3, tier 4 at least. You camp there a little bit, and then that way you're in a better position to kind of hit the ground running when you are 35 and 34 for the Franklin A and the Enterprise and the Augur and the D4 and stuff like that. Sam, I would, that's up to you. The tier 8 Centurion will grind any of the dailies that you need. So you should be fine. And by the way, everybody was saying that they couldn't see chat. It's just because I had to apply you some rolls. Y'all all should be good now. I think everybody's got a roll. So thank y'all for joining. And we're going to be doing some play testing hopefully in a bit. We'll talk about cards, release some info. Yeah, OG, at 29, I go to 35. And then it's en route to 35 that, and now not everybody can do it just straight to 34, 35, but if you plan for it and you've got the resources saved, which you're going to need a few billion parts still, yeah, I mean, you can get up there pretty quickly. Yes, says tips for winning the jelly event. My tips for winning the jelly event are save, like right now, I've got a ship to tier up. I've got about 24 researches. I've got 3 buildings. I save things for when that comes around, and then I just bam, 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 unload all my uncommons and try to win. And I wait till like the last day. But that's my method. I guess you don't have to copy that method, but That's what I found works for me. You know, what I did is I placed like 3rd and 4th place in 2 jelly events and then Armadas is how I got mine. I did a video, by the way, of how I got my free ISS jelly. Like, I free to play grinded my ISS. I didn't spend any money on a pack for it, and that is out there. Frederick says, when are you going to take a trip to Scopely HQ in the middle of the night? Never. Y'all pay for the trip? Maybe. But I'm glad No One Shall lives that close. I loved his video. I thought it was great. But yeah, I have no plans to go harass them. Maybe in the middle of the day. Jason says Augur or Enterprise first. It really depends on what you do. The Augur is a better Armada ship for me. It has some really nice PvE grinding. It's annoyingly slow, which means I take it out of a lot of PvP. But it's a great ship. So TC spending is a good way, Saint. I think that I use territory capture spending as an augmented way, like a tertiary source of blueprints. It's good to add to, but it's not something I want to rely on solely, if that makes sense. I want to have multiple ways I'm getting them. What else we got as my voice is starting to go out? Did a lot of talking today. The beginning of this episode, if you missed it, had a lot of good information about some of the Armada changes. Let's see. What is your fastest ship? I mean, probably my Vidar. Probably my fastest one. Saint says, I think they added the ability to gain, especially if the solo leaderboard for is dominated. Yeah, there's multiple ways to earn it now. What about the D4, Eric? D4 is fast. I've got one of those too. Good PvP ship. Nicholas says Picard coins. Will they be available to spend them again? I don't know. I know that was for Picard week. I don't know if there's another week coming next month. I don't. Maybe. I have no clue though. Jesse, I can't really answer that. That's up to you, man. I can't tell you to save those or not, or spend them or not. I'm spending mine, so because I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if that's going to change or what. Let's see, what else we got here? Yes, do you think Scope will release Klingons or Romulan officers soon? I wouldn't say soon. You got a lot of the next generation stuff to finish out. Jeff says Picard's not in the event store. So Picard was only in the event store for Picard Week. This is not Picard Week stuff. This is just the officer exchange program. So it's an event series. The Picard Week is over. So yeah, all that's gone. Jesse, you can compete as free to play at level 40 plus. It's just very difficult. You know, it's still not super free to play friendly above level 39. It is doable, and I have several friends who are free to play up there. Decix is, I think, going to level 44 now, but it's still not very free to play friendly. You know, so free to play, most of them recommend still camping at 39 and working on all their research, because most of them don't have their research up anyway, and that way they can be ready to go when a lot more efficient methods come out for getting into the 40s. More snoozing people? That doesn't sound good. Yeah, Riker and Worf are coming. Yes, they are coming. Ruben says, how about Cardassians or Ferengi officers? Now, I got told by one of the devs when I made my Ferengi officer video that they really enjoyed it. But the only problem was they also said that at the same time they had a meeting basically of no Ferengi officers were coming anytime soon when I made that video. So it is potential to come in the future, but it's not something I know of being on the drawing board right now. Miki says, why is 40 plus not free to play friendly? For several reasons. The events aren't geared towards free to play in terms of leaderboards. They're not, the brackets are extremely wide, and that's intentional. Much wider than some of the regular 30s brackets. The cost to upgrade ships is still not in a format that is feasible for most regular players, especially if you wanted to go, say, get your Kelvin. There's nothing that pays out to really help that or facilitate for that to be an easy process. You're also at a point where a lot of the cost of operation is still not covered even by the biotics updates. It's really, and the 40s were designed to be something that required spending to really progress at a normal rate, and that still hasn't changed really. It has been improved, but it's still not really changed. It is still meant to be something that you have to spend to help increase your, or lessen your playtime and increase your ability to continue to grow at a pace you were in the 30s. So, and that was how they designed it, and that will of course change as they come out with new stuff. But for now, it's still not the most free-to-play friendly area where you really have to just kind of micromanage everything you're doing, and the average player just doesn't want to go through that effort for a mobile game. Some people do, and that's why there's some free-to-play up there now. Let's see. Texan says, just unlocked the auger a few days ago. Tier 4 with shields. Is using Charvanek as captain and Nero as an officer beneficial for burning? No, I would much rather you run like 5 Kirk Spock than Char, Nero, whatever. Now, remember when you get to like level 34, 35, 36, etc., you really want to start focusing out your crews on what you're trying to do. So if you're doing Armadas, make an Armada crew. If you're fighting Enterprises, you want to make an Enterprise, an anti-Enterprise crew. So you kind of lose that generalization that you were running with earlier. So you don't want to focus on running general stuff. You focus on running specific loadouts for specific objectives. Like a one common one is running like Marcus's captain, Giorgio, and then, like Merrick or Krell on the side, so that you get that 500% damage bonus as well as the cumulative bonus of the Obliterator weapon and then the piercing effects of Marcus. So, I mean, just several different ways. And hey, thank you, Mike Brown, for the 20 Canadian. I would greatly appreciate that. $6 US. I'm just kidding. I don't know how much it is. Thank you for supporting the channel. You're awesome. If anybody else does want to help out, because hey, we do have bills and we are trying to raise for the house fund. If you want to get your name here, hit up that PayPal link, Venmo, Cash App, anything. Really appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. I'll only make it, and I'm only able to do this because y'all support to let this be my day job. So if you got $2 to spare, if everybody right now sent $2, I could literally pay for the bills that I got to pay today, like homeowner's insurance. Sucks. Let's see. Sis says, love how you're fielding questions. I mean, that's what I'm here for. Try to help y'all out. Ira says, I call that crewing for the mission. Mission-based crewing equals more wins than generic crews. And I would agree. Now, it becomes very difficult to do that in like territory capture because you don't necessarily know what you're going to fight. But, you do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. I don't have a date for you on that, Jason. I don't have a date for you. Other than the progress bar here, how's the house fund going? Well, the progress bar is the house fund. So that's our down payment or what we're trying to put together. $1 Canadian is 0.81. Oh, that would have didn't pay. Eric says, I've asked before, but I had to step away. Uncommon Refinery Day. What do you mean, why is Scopely not let me out? I'm not sure what you mean, Eric. I don't understand. Is Yuki, Azadbur, and Marcus still viable for PvP? Definitely not Az. I'm not sure who told you that Az was viable. You get Az out of here. But Yuki, Marcus, and then just about anything else is a very good duo. Yeah, the last bonus refinery was a long time ago. They know that we're asking for it. I've definitely asked for it several times. I know DJ's brought it up. I'm sure Fartasia's brought it up. So the content creators are pushing for it. But, you can't make them move any faster than they move. So Scopely's going to do what Scopely does. That's just kind of what they do. Scopely's going to Scopely. Oh, snap. We have a shout real quick to Andrew M. Don't want to say your name because I don't know what you are in YouTube. But they just donated to the house fund. And now they're going to get a fancy little icon that shows up here because they get their name on the house because they donated $35. Thank you so much, Andrew. Don't know who you are, so I don't want to say your real name because, you know, you got to worry about Uncle Sam and Big Brother. They're trying to come in and steal your fish sticks. And we don't want them to steal your fish sticks. We want you to keep your fish sticks. Thank you so much for that PayPal donation. House fund updated. Thank you. Matthew says for territory capture, if you got a Sarco on a node with Sarco crew, doesn't really matter. Oh, it still matters, Matt. It still matters because if you hit by another Sarco, you're going to want your crews to be right. But yes, you know, that is where the sarcophagus is powerful, is on a node, and really on a node. Only matters on a node. So yes, I've actually had that conversation with multiple devs about server versus server type of events. And it is something that they have, like, I don't want to use the word explored, but it is something that they've thought about and is kind of like on the drawing table of like, how can they make that work? So yes, the answer to that is most definitely. Still though, I don't know when that becomes a thing. Like I don't have a definite, oh yeah, the next 2 months they wanted to try this out. I would love that though. I think that that would help boost activity across all servers if we had like a whose server is better than another server and it not be related to mergers. I think that'd be a great thing. So what do you mean that station defense is kind of a joke? You mean like live station defense? They already made it even tougher to crack bases than it was before. So what exactly are you talking about? Sarco gets a bonus from any node. Correct. Mining node or Sark node, but we don't necessarily bring that up because we don't want them to fix it. Wraith, there's server merges going on right now, buddy. Server 9 and server 25 are going at it. So server merges. Generally, we've gotten to a point where we typically have 2 to 4 servers getting merged every month. Older servers generally. So you maxed out in station defense and I'm still cracked in one hit. Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I tell people not to do station defense research. It's pointless. But you also can't make it too hard to where it costs 100 hits to crack your base, because then people aren't making any money if they do it. So that's why shields exist. 2Q says server 51. Server 51 has a lot of players. Why would it need to be merged? Did y'all run off everybody? Did everybody run off of server 51? When I haven't logged into server 51 in about a month, but I mean, they weren't dead when I was there. Ruben says, are the powers that be thinking of expanding the galaxy? And if so, would they introduce Voyager in the Delta Sector? God, we can only hope they don't waste their time with Voyager, the worst Star Trek series ever. But yes, I mean, they are constantly exploring, expanding the map, new factions, things like that. See what other questions and comments we got before we wrap up. We only got a few more minutes and I got to wrap up because I probably will do a stream on Twitch late tonight. Not sure when. If y'all haven't already, please check out the Twitch channel. We're almost at 3,000 followers on Twitch. It'd be so awesome if we could get there. And Twitch is where I kind of get a little bit more me. Why is there not a system map? What do you mean there is a system map? You hit the galaxy button, there's a system map. Hugo says, once a week you're able to use your Sarco to defend a super specific spot with a ship. Is that your idea of like a thought? So funny enough, Thomas, I'm actually watching Voyager right now. I enjoy all Star Trek. I just don't think Voyager's that good because the writing was bad. Not that the actors are bad, not that the ship is ugly. Just most of the writing isn't good. But, you know, I'm watching, I'm into season 3 now. I'm doing a rewatch because I just finished The Next Generation. I'd already done DS9 again. And now I'm watching currently Lower Decks and Voyager. Nicholas, I do not have an update for that. I wish I did, but I do not have an update for crew presets. Omi says, if I'm working on Klingon reputation, but not yet to either have 78,000 Klingon credits, do I go for the Burrell or skip it and wait to use them D4? I would wait for the D4 because I'm assuming you want an Enterprise. If you're not doing Enterprise, then yeah, let's go ahead and get you a Burrell because it is a beautiful ship. Shout out to Graduate Medicated following on Twitch. Hopefully we'll see you a little bit later. Am I following the Delta Flyers? Wow, very nice. Shout out to Unicorn Tower for following the Twitch channel. Can't wait to see some of y'all over there because I get kind of randy a little bit. Also says back when we would hunt rogues, shout out real quick to Charles 3110 following. See, also says back when we would hunt rogues, it would have been helpful to have a map that you could draw on to make searching areas. I guess I can kind of see that in my head. Ruben, you should only build the Legionary if you're for scrapping at level 34. Do not build it as your primary ship at 26. That's my recommendation. 2Q, the D4 is a great PvP ship. It's a fantastic PvP ship. We'll kill Enterprises for fun. So it's up to you if you want to get it, but I like the D4. They've really balanced out how the epics work with some of the new officers and everything. So. Yes, says will Scopely bring out new ships or just skins? They will bring out new ships. I don't have a timetable for you on that, but yeah, it's not just only skins coming on from now on. Thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate it. Ian says, I'm eventually going to scrap a tier 9 Mayflower. You think I should get the other level 26s? I mean, yeah. I mean, one scrap of like a 34, one scrap of a 26 is not enough to get you everything you want. You actually want to start making that a regular thing where you're scrapping them continually. Like you're doing Mayflowers for primes and then for ISS Jellyfish, and you're doing a Legionary for primes, and you're doing a D3 for primes. You get to a point where you're doing it pretty regularly, and you'll learn that whales are doing this all the time because they need the parts, like the ship parts that they get from scrapping these. So you actually want to get in the mold of using that button quite often. Shout out to Chef, by the way, who just dropped $5 in the PayPal. Thank you for that donation, Chef. Greatly appreciated. You are an amazing person. Anybody that supports small-time businesses like myself, greatly appreciated. Scrapping never stops. It shouldn't, Drew. I mean, you should be scrapping. If you need uncommon crystal, you should be scrapping envoys. If you need, 4-star stuff for primes, you should be scrapping D3s and Mayflowers. If you need 4-star uncommon parts, you should be scrapping Saladins. So there's always something to be done. Always something to be done. Charles, so the next ship after the Centurion will be chosen. It's chosen by the players. They have to go into the comment section and choose what's the next ship. See, did we max this out yet? Oh yeah, we're maxed out. Come on. Time to go home, big boy. Time to go home. So Ian, the key to affording the level 24 ships is the faction credits start getting paid for by your Borg refinery. And it's not that expensive once you have the Borg maxing up and going. And yes, the level does matter, Malarkey. You need to be a max level 45. Any of the 26 ships need to be level 45 to get the maximum you can from scrapping them. Needs to be that high. You're taking these things to max, Mr. Killywiggles. You're maxing them out. So a tier 7 Envoy and a tier 9 Mayflower, you're maxing those out. Whew, okay. For 3-star uncommon gas, that would be a tourist, Jeff. That'd be a tourist. All right, here's what we're going to do. We've hit 2 hours. I got to wrap this stream up. We will be live definitely tomorrow night. Remember, Friday night on Twitch, we get really, really crazy, have lots of fun. It's usually community focused, so come hang out and do that if you would like. We also should have a video out tomorrow. Please continue to support everything that we do. Also, I can't really think of anything else because my voice is going out from talking so much. I've had a blast hanging out with y'all today. Check out the card game Discord. Check out the regular Discord. Check out the PayPal link. Check out everything that we're doing. I'm trying to make everything as entertaining as possible. Live long and prosper. Stay safe with the Space Cowboys. Can't wait to talk to y'all again. Deuces, that's me. Oh, end button.